This was years and years ago when I was a young attending. And I remember Jason had pretty moderate to severe diabetes, meaning it was not controlled. He was very faithful with his office visits, though. He came to see me pretty much every 3 to 4 months, like clockwork. However, when he came, he usually didn't do a lot of the things I had requested. His diabetes numbers were always not controlled. They were never controlled. They were actually pretty uncontrolled. I mean, and this went over like months and months and months and months and months. Every visit was kind of just talking to him about, hey, we need to get these numbers under control. Hey, let's do this with your meds. Let's change this. Let's add this. Let's up this. You need to lose weight. And honestly, like every time he came in, I didn't necessarily see him doing many of the things that I suggested. But he always came faithfully every 3 to 4 months. And I remember one day literally sitting there, and this was back in the day when we had paper charts, so we didn't have electronic medical records. And I remember saying to him, I just got fed up, and I said, what are you doing? I said, what are you doing? I said, you come here every 3 to 4 months, which is wonderful. I said, but you come here every 3 to 4 months, faithfully, but you don't ever do any of the suggestions. Your diabetes is out of control. You're not making the proper changes to your medications that we've talked about. You're not seeing the specialists that I've advised you to. You haven't started losing weight. You're not watching your diet. You almost seem like you don't care. What are you doing? Why do you even come? I said. I remember getting to the point where I was so frustrated. I even said that to him. I said, why do you bother coming? I said, look, I want to treat you. I'll always be here. And my job is to be here, and I want to be here. I will treat you any and every day that you come in to see me. I said, but why do you even bother paying a copay? Why bother? You're paying $15 to $20 every time you come to see me just to tell me that you've not done anything I've advised you to do? You're not making any of the suggestions. You haven't lost any weight. Perhaps you're even gaining weight. Your numbers are worse than they were before. Why do you even bother? I remember saying. Oh, I was so fed up. I was frustrated. I was disappointed. And I was disappointed for him. He was a young guy. Whole life ahead of him, had a family. And I just remember thinking, this is ridiculous. And I was so angry and just so upset and so frustrated and disappointed and not also sure. I think the other part of my frustration was I wasn't sure how to fully reach him. Part of the frustration was, I was me thinking, what else do I need to do? I've tried this, I've tried that. We've talked about this, we've done this. I've referred you here. What else do I need to do to get through to you? Well, long story short, I don't actually remember how that visit ended. Not sure how that worked out. I just remember that some months later, I'm not sure how many months later it was, I was running from room to room. It was a busy morning in the office. And again, we had paper charts. So the chart was sitting outside the door. And I remember grabbing the chart. I didn't even look to see who it was before I went into the room. And I knock on the door and I walk into the room and I look up and I didn't, nothing registered at first. I said, hi, how you doing? And I opened his chart and I said, wait. And I recognized it was Jason based on the chart. And I looked up back again. I was like, Jason. Is that you? Jason had lost weight. And not only had he lost some weight, he had lost a considerable amount of weight. I said, Jason? I'm looking at the name on the chart and looking back up at him and looking back at the chart and looking back up at him. I'm like, is this you? He said, hey, Doc. I said, hey, what's going on? He said, well, I decided to take your advice. He said, I'm starting to exercise now. I'm watching what I'm eating. I'm playing basketball with my friends. This is, of course, before COVID. I'm doing the things you suggested. He's like, I made those changes to my medications. I'm checking my blood sugars now. And I'm going to make an appointment with the endocrinologist like you suggested a while back. I said, oh my gosh. I said, what? I mean, what? How? I was like tongue-tied, right? And he said, he said, I realized I had to make a change. It was time. And I said, well, I'm really glad. I'll be honest with you. I didn't think Jason would change. I actually thought he probably would stop seeing me after the last visit. That I said to him, what are you doing? You're wasting your life. Your life may not be the quality it could be if you keep going down this path. You're at higher risk for strokes and heart attacks and all these things because you have diabetes. Don't you want to see your kids, grow up, et cetera? Oh, I went there, okay? I wasn't sure I'd actually see him back in my office because of what I said. And here he was, not only back in my office, but he was sitting here a certain number of pounds lighter. I don't remember, but lighter enough that he looked different, doing all the things that he knew would help him. And that changed my life as a doctor, as a person. You know, sometimes we give up on things. We give up on ourselves. We give up on other people. We give up on opportunities. We give up on life. But what I learned from that is we should never give up, because you just never know when a breakthrough is about to happen. We shouldn't ever give up on ourselves or on other people. It taught me also as a doctor that important thing of not giving up on patients, which I didn't at that point, but I honestly felt on the brink of it. I learned that it's important to keep talking to my patients about diabetes and about their blood pressure and about quitting smoking, even if they're not ready to quit smoking. I've had patients that after years and years and years and years of me every single visit talking about quitting smoking, one random day they walk into the office and they say, "Doc, hey, I quit smoking last month." I said, "Oh, what?" And who would have known? Who would have thunk it? Who would have thought it would have been then? You know, look, life is funny. And we can't always predict when change will happen and how it will happen. But what we have to do is make sure we never lose faith that it can happen. Never give up on yourself, on your ability to make positive changes in your life, whether that's to become a healthier weight or to eat healthier, or spend more time with your kids, or to quit smoking, or whatever it is. Don't give up on your spouses or your partners or the people you know's ability to do things that are going to be right for them. Because we all have that power to change. And even if you haven't accomplished your goal, let's say you've been trying to lose weight for years. It's many of my patients, right? Losing weight is one of the hardest things to do. Quitting smoking is one of the hardest things to do. Arguably, I've had people quit heroin and they haven't been able to quit smoking. So if you haven't been able to quit smoking, don't beat yourself up. Trust me, it's tough. And a lot of people are in your boat. But what you have to do is make sure you don't give up on yourself. The power in our ability to change is pretty remarkable. We have that power. So as we're going through this life, we're living in COVID land and all sorts of things. We're trying to figure out which way is up versus down, what's right versus left. Remember, we can change and the world around us can change. Those who don't want to wear masks might actually change to understanding and realizing and doing what we know is best, which is to wear masks. Those who don't get flu shots might decide to get a flu shot. Same with the COVID vaccine and so many other things. We have the power to change. So don't ever forget that. My patient, who I call Jason, is one of the patients in my career that's certainly taught me that, amongst so many others. So guys, I hope this was helpful. As always, it's great joining you for Kitchen Conversations and for everything else that we talk about. I'm Dr. Jen Caudle. Please share this video if you haven't already. And for those of you who like and follow my page, I so appreciate you. Thank you for everyone who sends stars. You can always find those right underneath my videos, guys. I do daily health videos. I will see you again.